Hi gang, I'm glad you're all here to join me. Thank you very much for being here and thank you for subscribing. If you are not a member of our community, please subscribe. Millions of chickens in 22 states and turkeys have been killed because of the spread of the bird flu. Yesterday it was announced another 15,000 chickens and 37,000 turkeys in Iowa will be killed after the bird flu spread to 2 more Iowa farms, state agricultural officials announced on Sunday. Since the outbreak began a month ago, millions of fowl have been killed, many of them in Iowa, which is the nation's leading egg producer. The latest cases were at a commercial turkey flock in Sac County and a flock of commercial breeding chickens in Humboldt County. Because the virus is so infectious and deadly for commercial poultry, entire flocks are being destroyed and composted on the farms where they are infected. The CDC said the cases of the birds do not present an immediate public health concern, and no human cases of the avian influenza virus have been detected in the United States. It remains safe to eat poultry products. Cooking of poultry and eggs to an internal temperature of 165 degrees kills the bacteria and virus. There is 3 different types of the avian influenza virus. They label them A, B, and C. The type A avian influenza virus are mostly associated with the avian influenza epidemics and pandemics. The first case of avian influenza that was easily transmittable to humans was in 1995 in Hong Kong. They call it H5N1. We don't have it yet here in the United States, and this is why they're culling all these flocks. They don't want it here, but it's going to be just a matter of time. On People.com, it was announced yesterday that zoos across the nation are temporarily closing bird exhibits in response to the bird flu outbreak. Here it says the current avian flu outbreak has led to over 20 million bird deaths in 24 states. Birds don't catch it from humans. Humans catch this virus from birds. And it says here that a zoo in New Jersey, Turtleback Zoo, is located along the migratory routes for birds, so it's important that we do all we can to prevent birds in our care from getting infected. The zoo's flamingos, bald eagles, condors, and hawks will be off exhibit until further notice. The Philadelphia Zoo is taking similar precautions and moving bird exhibits indoor. This marks the first time in the zoo's history that they have closed exhibits due to the risk of the bird flu. The Philadelphia Zoo officials told the outlet there are no confirmed cases of the bird flu at their facilities. The penguin, emu, vulture, and bald eagle exhibits have been temporarily closed since last month. Zoo officials have heightened their precaution status from level 3 to level 4. Out of 5 total levels, according to the outlet, it is now mandatory for zookeepers to wear coveralls or Tyvek suits to enter bird areas. The outbreak has caused egg prices to jump to $2.88, probably a dozen, an over 50% increase since February, according to CNET. Now, I have mentioned that, food prices have jumped at least 50%. And, before these outbreaks and, rationing and everything else. Government officials will say that inflation is at about 8%, but what I have noticed across the board, it's more like 50% and probably higher. Last year, the United Nations made an announcement that there was going to be food shortages starting at the end of last year and into this year. And if any of you guys believe in prophecy, which I do, there's going to be a worldwide famine coming. The CDC keeps reminding people that there is no evidence that the avian bird flu can be transmitted to people as long as you cook your chicken properly. handle it properly. Another article from yesterday shows how the avian flu continues to spread to more Minnesota poultry flocks. It says there that the number of flocks infected is 13 now, up from 7 from last Friday. In total, the affected flocks so far are more than 580,000 birds. Here on NPR News, they have the data as of the 2nd, so it wouldn't have the new data that's being released yesterday or today. Iowa, 13,290,554. Wisconsin, 2,757,820. Maryland, 1,600,000 plus. Delaware, 1,559,000 plus. South Dakota, that's where I'm at, 1,185,000 plus. Nebraska, 987,000 plus. Minnesota, 510,000 and above. Missouri, 393,000. Kentucky, almost 300,000 there in Kentucky. Indiana, 171,000. North Carolina, 77,000 plus. In North Dakota, 77,159. They don't have all the states listed here. Now, I have raised chickens, so I knew that unwashed eggs can be stored in the refrigerator for up to 6 months. The ones you get in the store are washed. Doing a Google search, it says, can you eat eggs that are 2 months out of date? You know, the best use date you often see on many packages. These dates make it easier to know how old the eggs are. But if you store them properly, eggs can actually last far beyond their expiration date and still be safe to eat. So, the short-term answer is yes. It can be safe to eat expired eggs. How long is too long to keep eggs? Refrigerator storage. Refrigerate eggs at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or less. Store them in their original carton on the inside shelf and away from pungent foods. Yeah, you don't want them absorbing the flavors of onion or maybe fish. Raw whole eggs, it says, in the shell will last 4 to 5 weeks beyond the package date, or about 3 weeks after purchase. You can always tell a fresh egg from an old egg when you crack it open and put it in the frying pan. The white of the egg would be runny if it's an old egg. It's still edible, but it's going to be runny, where if it's a fresh egg, the white will stay close together to the yolk. And then here it says, according to the USDA, raw eggs in the shell, if you keep them refrigerated properly, will last 3 to 5 weeks. Boiled eggs will last for about 1 week in the refrigerator. You can do the search yourself there on Google. And to make things worse, they got a rare virus that's been infecting chicken farms there in Indiana. It's known as egg drop syndrome, where either the egg has a very thin shell or they lay the eggs with no shell at all. You know, in the poultry food, they put a lot of different medications and vaccines. They believe that this virus, the egg drop syndrome virus, was first made, I guess you can say it was made in 1976. It originated through the spread of a vaccine and then given to chickens. Yeah, the virus originally originated in ducks and spread to chickens through a contaminated vaccine. And yeah, I'll give you a link to this more. Yeah, another man-made virus spread to our food chain. Some would say that the recent shortages of food and the coming famine is probably man-made. Before I talk about stocking up to beat inflation, to make sure you and your family still have food when there's no food on the shelves to be bought, here's another article about the avian flu. They're in Texas now. They're evidently testing to make sure that It's not the type of avian flu that can jump to people. This virus was caught at a pheasant farm. And bird deaths are also being reported in wild backyard birds. So as of today, this is what's being reported on foodsafetynews.com. The disease is reported in 118 flocks, including 46 backyards and 72 commercial flocks in 24 states. Only one human infection is reported worldwide in a person who works with a large number of domestically kept birds in the United Kingdom. That person tested positive for avian flu, but was asymptomatic, meaning they didn't show any symptoms, and is no longer considered infectious by the World Health Organization. So this is what I wanted to share about stocking up and with flour. 100 pounds of flour will make about 140 loaves of bread. White flour, because it doesn't have the oils like wheat, will store longer. So here it shows that white flour will last either in the shelves, still in the bag. Maybe you decided to put it in plastic buckets, but it'll last about a year. If you keep the flour in the refrigerator, it will last 2 years. And in a freezer, it will last also 2 years. I have had flour go bad on me before, and what happens is the oils go rancid. It's a definite smell that you would recognize if the flour went bad. But it's basically the oils. Best way I could describe it is going sour. There is another website where you can check for expiration dates for all kinds of foods. It's called Still Tasty. How long will your favorite food or beverage stay safe and tasty? What's the best way to store it? Gives you all kinds of ideas. The expiration dates that you will see on packages is the sell date, best sell date for the stores. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone bad. Canned goods, long as the can is not rusty or bloated, that food will last for years in the can. I was reorganizing my freezer and I had one package of meat that I tossed out and it had freezer burn. So I thought I would look about freezer burn if it was still safe to eat. Evidently foods that have freezer burn, all that happen, the reason it happened is it's kind of like freeze drying the food. The moisture comes out of the food and so it's dried out. It may look unappetizing, but it's still safe to eat as long as your freezer is at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees minus 18 Celsius. And I'll give you a link to this web page also. We definitely don't want to be wasting food. We want to save as much as we can, especially with this 50% inflation that's going on. And this is on Healthline. It states here, freezer burn, why it happens, and tips to prevent it. So that's all I have for you right now. If you have any thoughts or comments or questions. I really believe that the food shortage is done on purpose. What are your thoughts? Please put those comments down below. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Please stay safe, and I'll talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.